Welcome back to Puertorican Panorama. On this segment of the program, we're going to be talking about the Center for Literacy. And my guest star sitting next to me is JoAnn Weinberger. She's the president and executive director of the center. And next to her is Maribel Ojeda. She's an ESL teacher. And when we're talking about literacy in this case, we're talking about adult literacy. We're not talking about children who are in school because they're of school age. We're talking about enabling people to work, pretty much.
That's right. And we're helping people if they need a GED or a high school diploma, if they need to be able to go on to a college or training program. We're giving them the basic skills, problem solving, computer literacy to be able to do that.
So it's not just reading. I mean, you also help them with mathematics and anything that is job related.
That's right. And writing is very important because reading and writing do go together. And when you talk about English as a second language, you're also talking about speaking and listening so that individuals can communicate well.
So in essence, you know, you're kind of closing the gap between, you know, the workforce out there and the requirements by agencies that do the hiring. I mean, they require certain levels of skill, and sometimes those skills are not out there.
That's right. And some of our programs also include family literacy, and there's one in particular that Maribel teaches, so that if people are parents or grandparents of a child under the age of 8, it's a program specially for them that also helps them work with their children.
I've heard some scary, shocking statistics recently about the level of education that we have, you know, in the community. In Pennsylvania, for example, people who only have an elementary school level, and in addition to that, people who are, you know, recent immigrants. What is the statistics on that?
So in Philadelphia in particular, there are 500,000 adults who do not have the skills to be able to qualify for the jobs that are available. We also know that 1 out of 10 to 11 adults in Philadelphia are immigrants, and they need English as a second language. And it's not just Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. United States ranks 27th in the world in terms of literacy.
Tell me about the programs that you run.
So we run programs for native English speakers and for those.
First of all, your programs are free.
Yes, our programs.
Say that up front.
Yes.
So nobody, you know, turns the channel. These programs are free.
That's right.
Now,
okay.
Talk about describe your program.
So we have programs for native English speakers, and we have programs specifically for English as a second language learners. And at this time, I'd like to ask Maribel to talk about the classes because she's a teacher and she knows firsthand what we do.
Well, in the ESL program that I work for, it's a family literacy program, so I teach both ESL and GED workforce skills to my students. And with the ESL class, we primarily focus on how to fill out those job applications, how to live in the society that you're living in both languages, and try to prepare students to empower themselves to get into the workforce and provide for their family and continue their education beyond the GED. Because we're not just a GED program. We try to empower people to move into the workforce, think of post-secondary education, and so on.
Now these skills that you're talking about are not taught, you know, in one session. Typically, how long is the program?
Well, it depends on what program. We have 12-week cycles, so a student can enroll depending on their level in a certain class, and then after that 12-week cycle, they're tested again to see how far they've advanced or if they've advanced at all, and then we determine if they're going to stay in that same level or if they're going to progress to the next level Some of our students come in at a very low literacy level. Some of our students are very close to attaining their GED and moving on to post-secondary education.
I would imagine that most of your students work. Perhaps they're underemployed, but I would imagine a lot of them have jobs or family responsibilities. What about the timing of the classes that you teach? Are they adjusted so that you know they're accessible to people?
Absolutely.
To people's times?
Absolutely. We have classes in North Philadelphia and West Philadelphia and Center City, and we have classes, morning classes 9 to 12, afternoon classes 1 to 4, and evening classes 5:30 to 8:30. So we try to reach a wide spectrum of hours for all of our learners to be able to make it and keep that attendance up.
Right. We also have a tutoring program for English as a second language. We recruit volunteers who we train, who then meet in small groups, and that time is also more flexible to be able to accommodate everybody's schedules and everybody's responsibilities.
Yeah. Now, how many different sites do you have? Is it just one site, or is it all over?
No, we have sites all over the city, and at this time we have over 30 individual sites. Some are in libraries, some are in school district buildings. Maribel teaches at Rivera, and some are in our new Center City location, which has classrooms and a state-of-the-art computer learning lab.
Okay. How many locations do you have altogether?
We have over 30.
Okay. Now, are some of the, you said libraries and other places, are some of these classes held in the Hispanic agencies that we have in the community that serve Hispanic community?
At times we have done that. Currently that is not happening, but probably the closest is Rivera, which is a school district building in the Hispanic community.
It's located at 5th and Huntington in the Ramonita Rivera building. It's the Central East Regional Office for the school district, and we're on the 3rd floor. So anyone is welcome to come in and join our ESL class or our GED class there. Family literacy program.
I wonder why none of these sessions are being held in places like Concilio, Congreso, APM. These are agencies that specifically serve the Hispanic community, and I'm wondering why they're not involved.
Congreso has been involved in the past, and they've worked with community college. So I don't know whether that's still happening or not. I know we used to work with Lighthouse to be able to combine our programs, especially with job training programs that they were offering.
Okay.
So I think it's a major question around funding, because that's the #1 issue in terms of how many programs you can operate, how many people you can serve. Because there is some government funding. It has been reduced in the last few years. We do receive some philanthropic funding, corporate foundation, individual support, and of course we're always looking for more.
For donations.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Sure.